My name is Roger Marshall. My position is level 3 welding inspector and welding engineer. I've ran the welding department since 2000 and been involved with welding at Regal Research since August of 2000.
Hello, my name is Jose Ruiz. I'm a level 2 weld inspector here at Regal. Experience I gathered through working at different departments, from spot welding, and the finishing department. It has given me the ability to look at the welds when I'm inspecting them and a broader picture, not just welding wise, but also the next process that's gonna be going through. Grinding, for example. We wanna make sure that we not only meet our weld quality as far as weld specs, but also a visual, something that our customer is gonna enjoy. And through the experience I've gained throughout these years, it's helping me detect that and provide my personal touch to that part. So the fillet weld gauges, we can use them to check concave welds or convex welds. Depends on the profile of the weld. So the weld, what we're looking for is a 200 thousandths weld size. So I'm using a 1/4 fillet gauge. Do it like this, that we know we have the height. It's a flat profile, a little bit of convexity to it. So we know the throat thickness is gonna be good. It's not gonna be under when it's concave. Size is good. It's about what we're looking for. So the weld size is our minimum. Definitely wanna hit it or be above it. So after we do our visual check, we make sure the weld size is what we're looking for. Now we're gonna go ahead and set up to cut this into pieces, which at the end, it'll be looking like this one over here, which is the first test sample that we're working on. We're gonna cut it into 2 different pieces. The side pieces, we're gonna edge to make sure we have full root fusion. And the middle one, we're gonna bend break test to make sure visually we also have a good fusion in the root.
I do welding engineering, basically work with suppliers and make sure our welders are qualified to weld their products using various welding codes and their in-house specifications. We need to solve, this is critical, the seams.
Yeah.
On the outside is what we want to look for. See how it's burned up, sucked in?
Like there should be like 0 color, right?
There should be, well, not that it's color, see how it's burned up?
Oh, because it's gray?
Yeah, where it's sucked in.
Okay.
So that's what we don't want, because that causes the oxidation. This side, everything looks good. Settings are close, just play with your amperage.
Okay. Yeah, I'll turn everything down. I'll try to keep everything at the same speed.
We have several types of welding process we do out here. We do TIG welding, MIG welding, spot welding, laser beam welding. We do soldering, we do brazing, structural welding, we do aerospace welding.
Assistant spot welding, which is pretty cool. You get to join different types of material thicknesses together, from stainless steel to regular steel and aluminum. We also do TIG welding, stainless steel, and aluminum. One of the coolest things I've seen over the years at Regal is the implementation of the laser weld. It provides consistent weld, quality weld, and highly cosmetic as well. Ready for inspection, George? Ready for your inspection? Right on the money. So after checking the dimensions, visually inspecting the weld, everything's good to go. This is the last part inspection. A part of our process at Weld involves weld process verification. We do the first and last as well, where dimensions are looked at by the lead or supervisor at weld shop, followed up by the visual inspection of a weld inspector, level 2. And since it's the last one, the supervisor already looked at it and signed off on the dimensions, which I verified and signed off on the traveler. Weld is good, acceptable, so we're gonna go ahead and stamp off that portion as well. And this is part of our internal process that we do to make sure that we're providing good quality welds and parts throughout the run, not just look at one and it's done for. Okay. So we're gonna return this one to the operator. Here you go, George. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Our welders are all qualified to various welding codes, AWS D17.1 and AWS D11 structural welding codes. I don't want to say to meet the customer's requirements because we can always do that. Maybe the biggest challenge is keeping our welders trained, making sure they're hitting the quality our customers expect. We have approximately 20 welders who do various projects for various customers.
Making sure our welders are qualified and do not lose their qualifications by making sure they keep welding the thicknesses and types of material that they are qualified to weld. We also make sure that we keep a record of all the testing that we do and as well of the production testing that is consistently done. That way, if anything, or at any time our customers ask for them, we'll be able to provide physical test proof that we've been doing.
What he's going to do is basically kind of polish the edge we're going to examine. So we want it as flat as we can get it to get a good image with the microscope.
Yep. Now, like Roger said, we just want to keep it flat. It'll make it easier and better once it goes under the microscope, especially when taking measurements. You go from this to this. This one's the rough cut. You can see all the
You
marks
see
on
all
the
the
blade.
saw marks, and then they're eliminated here.
So this is the lab where we do our edging.
So here's our etching solutions. We use different etching formulas for certain types of materials that we etch. This is a lab. So this is known as macro etching. Macro etching for fillet weld examination to examine the penetration of the fillet weld. So he's applying the acid on the surface to expose the weld. And then once it passes the test, then we have a document. It's called a WPS that we use, that we give the welder to use for production. It'll have all his essential variables, settings, amperage range, voltage range, travel speeds. So it gives them a recipe to how to basically make a weld. They'll take that document, now they'll build a part, but when they weld a section of weld, then they'll follow that WPS, stands for welding procedure specification. They'll follow that, that's their recipe. So this is a WPS. It'll tell you what filler metals to use. It'll show you the joint type, joint angle, root opening, what welding process we're using, what type of shielding gas we're using, what positions you're allowed to weld in, what progression you're allowed to weld to, stringer weld or weave. Tells you what nozzle to use on your torch, 1 to 2 passes, the type of polarity you use for the machine, your amperage range, your travel speed range. So the PQR, that's what validates the WPS. So these are the actual settings we used to develop it, how we welded it.
So at Weld Doc, we use technology to our advantage when documenting the testing that we do to make sure that we have a good record of what's being done. We use cameras to take pictures of the tests that we're doing, even as our operators are doing the testing themselves. We also have microscopes, which actually gives you a good in-depth or insight into the weld, the quality, make sure we got good penetration. And also we can then measure the welds to make sure they meet the weld size. We also have a bore scope that we use to check inside the weldments. So if we're not able to physically view with our eyes what's inside the weldment, we use the scope to be able to get in there, have a good insight of what it's inside to make sure it meets all the criteria.
So you should see, you really want this to be past this X. So it's not, it's kind of on the wrong side. And this one's pretty difficult because it's really thick aluminum. It's really hard to do. So this is one, probably I would say this is our biggest challenge we've had to do so far. So what we're looking at is how deep the penetration is into the joint. We're able to do most of our in-house testing for welder procedure qualification and welder qualification records. So I think that's a big step. We also introduced the handheld laser process, which is relatively new. So we've been able to implement that in various projects that have been really effective. First, we visually examine the weld first. Then once it passes that, all the VT requirements, then we're doing a penetrant test, PT. First, he'll clean the sample using a lint-free cloth. Then he'll apply the penetrant dye. So then we have what's called a dwell time, where we let it set for 10 to 15 minutes.
After the 15-minute dwell time, then we start cleaning.
So now he's going to remove the excess dye from the sample, or penetrant. So clean, clean, clean.
Buscando the maracas. And again, we wait the 15-minute dwell time. After the dwell time, then we examine the test piece.
I would say Regal's always been high quality welding since day one.
Regal provides high quality and repetition. Hold our tolerances to the print. That way we know anything that gets built today can fit a part from 20 years ago. We have a team behind the Weld Department that helps provide fixturing or jigs, depends how you want to call it, that help reproduce the same part, the consistency dimensionally. And then through our WPSs that we use, we're able to produce the same quality weld every single time.
I want them to know that we can meet any standard out there for high quality welding. Our welders are trained and certified to do any projects that our customers may require. We ensure that we meet all specifications, all drawing requirements, and all inspection requirements. So I think we stand out because of the Weld Doc side of it, because we're able to, again, work with welding codes and comply with the welding codes and ensure that our welders are qualified, that we have qualified procedures, and we have qualified welding inspectors. So yes.
Consistent improvement, which we obtain by training operators. If there's a weak link, the whole department suffers. So if there's a weak link, we make sure we work with that operator, train them, give them knowledge, so that the more they understand, the better their product will be.
My favorite part is just how the company cares about their employees, the overall quality projects we build, the cleanliness of the shop is really important. Regal Research is a great company to work for. We strive to do high quality work, especially welding. Welding is a part of our turnkey system that we have here. Yeah, it's a cool place to work. It's fun and challenging, and we like the challenge.
I did started working as a forklift, and through training, I was able to join the Welding Department, and I've been able to grow since supervising the Welding Department, also the finishing department, and now I get to grow here in our Weld Doc department as a level 2 weld inspector, and my goal is to keep growing. And I am proud to be working here because I know that my wings are not being clipped, they're being nourished.